Multiplayer games have been a fixture to the PS4's library, and in this video we take a look at the top 10 upcoming multiplayer titles on the PlayStation 4. Number 10 is Hello Games' No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a game that has been in development for a very long time. It was actually announced back in December of 2013. No Man's Sky is a survival game, and these types of games are already very popular on PC, but No Man's Sky looks to take the survival formula and amplify it tenfold. The game is an open universe survival game, so it's not an open world game, it's an open universe game. There's several different planets to explore, monsters to fight, things to collect, and the goal of No Man's Sky is to get to the center of the galaxy. Obviously, No Man's Sky also includes multiplayer where you can play with friends, explore together, travel together, battle against enemies together, but in a survival game, to survive, you definitely don't want to be on your own. That's going to make the game a lot more difficult. Get a couple friends or interact with people around, and that's going to make your survival in No Man's Sky a lot easier. Number 9 is another game that's been in development for a very long time, and it's Tom Clancy's The Division, being developed by Ubisoft. Tom Clancy's The Division was originally announced back in Ubisoft's E3 2013 press conference back in June of 2013. The game was originally scheduled to release in late 2014, then it got pushed back to 2015, and now it's finally releasing on March 8th, 2016. The Division takes place in a mid-crisis New York, and the player's mission is to restore order by investigating the source of a virus. The Division is an open-world third-person shooter with RPG elements and survival elements. Just like with No Man's Sky, in a survival title like The Division, you're gonna want to team up with a bunch of friends, and The Division has a heavy emphasis on multiplayer gameplay. In The Division, not only will you team up with players to survive, but there's also a PvP mode in the game called Dark Zones where you fight other teams of real players. Many would wonder why The Division isn't ranked higher in a list of the best upcoming multiplayer titles, but the game has just been delayed too much. There's obviously been a graphical downgrade, but hopefully Ubisoft can deliver when The Division launches on March 8th, 2016. Number 8, Gran Turismo Sport by Polyphony Digital. The Gran Turismo series is one of PlayStation's most popular series, and the game series has always had multiplayer, but with Gran Turismo Sport, Polyphony looks to put more of an emphasis on the multiplayer aspect of the game. The game is actually going to have an online championship where if you win, the player is actually going to be honored in Paris and given a prize. The game's also going to have live esport events where players compete for actual prizes. Gran Turismo Sport isn't a part of the mainline Gran Turismo series, hence the title of Sport, but this is a way for Polyphony Digital to put more of a multiplayer emphasis to the Gran Turismo series. Also, Gran Turismo Sport will be featuring PlayStation VR support, which could be very cool, but we'll have to see how that turns out in 2016, which is Gran Turismo Sport's expected release time. We don't know an exact date, but 2016 looks to be likely. Number 7, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. Ghost Recon Wildlands is an open-world tactical shooter being developed by Ubisoft Paris. While many will see the similarities between Ghost Recon Wildlands and Tom Clancy's The Division, Ghost Recon Wildlands puts more of an emphasis on the cooperative multiplayers in which the player can be joined up to 3 other players to explore the game's world and to complete campaign missions. The game can also be played solo, but then your teammates are going to be AI, and we all know that AI teammates are never all that good. Ghost Recon Wildlands is set in Bolivia, which in the game is the largest supplier of drugs in the world. The United States government sent a special operations unit called the Ghost to destroy the drug cartel in Bolivia. We don't have an exact release date for Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, but since The Division is releasing in 2016, 2017 seems likely for Ghost Recon Wildlands. Number 6 is another Tom Clancy title, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege is being developed by Ubisoft Montreal, and this is possibly the game with the biggest emphasis on the multiplayer since Rainbow Six Siege actually doesn't have a campaign and offers only an online mode. Rainbow Six Siege is a first-person tactical shooter with an emphasis on environmental destruction and cooperation between the players. In the game, you play as different operators from the Rainbow team, and all the operators have different nationalities, perks, abilities, and equipment. Players can plan the attack before their match begins and actually have some strategy in what they do. Outside of the competitive mode, the game will also feature a cooperative mode called Terrorist Hunt. Terrorist Hunt supports up to 5 different players, and players will take on the role of either the attackers or the defenders and must fight against a wave of enemies controlled by AI. And outside of that, the only single player that's featured in the game is a single player tutorial mode, and Terrorist Hunt does support solo play. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege is almost here with the release date of December 1st of this year. Number 5, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Now, the Uncharted games have never been known for their multiplayer component. Uncharted is a game that's known for its breathtaking single-player campaign, and while the multiplayer has been there since Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, not many people give the multiplayer the credit it deserves. But the multiplayer of Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 was actually very good. While there was some balancing issues in Uncharted 3, hopefully with Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, Naughty Dog can correct that and make the multiplayer component a worthy addition to Uncharted 4's single player. While Uncharted 4's single player campaign runs at a full 1080p, Uncharted 4's multiplayer will run at at a resolution of 900p, but will also offer 60 frames per second gameplay, which is much better for a multiplayer setting. We haven't seen much of Uncharted 4, A Thief's End multiplayer, but what we have seen has been very good. What's mainly been showcased with this game has been the single player, but hopefully Naughty Dog can deliver with the multiplayer as well when the game launches on March 18th, 2016. Number 4, Doom. Doom is a reboot of the popular Doom series, and the game was formerly known as Doom 4, but it went into development hell, and then Bethesda took over and decided to completely reboot the game. Obviously, Doom is going to have a quality single player campaign, but there's also going to be a multiplayer component to Doom, and id Software is developing the multiplayer in conjunction with certain Affinity. Multiplayer modes in Doom includes the traditional 4-player deathmatch, domination, freeze tag, clan arena, power-ups and teleports are going to be in the game, and in the multiplayer you're going to be able to transform into the monsters and actually play as them and kill other players. Doom will also include a built-in tool called Doom Snap Map, which allows players to construct custom maps, create new game modes, and share them with the online community. There's a lot to be excited about for Doom's multiplayer component, and hopefully Bethesda gets it right. There's a lot to be excited about with Doom's multiplayer component, not only what's on the disc, but also what's going to be made by the community with the custom maps, the new game modes, and id Software and Bethesda are going to allow players to share all of them with the community for no extra charge. The new Doom title releases sometime in the first half of 2016. Number 3 was one of the surprise games from E3 of this year, and it's For Honor, being developed by Ubisoft Montreal. For Honor is a hack-and-slash multiplayer game that features medieval knights, samurais, and Vikings. The game features a hand-to-hand combat system described as the art of battle by the developers. For Honor is a very historical game taking place in the medieval period. Players can play as a character from 3 different factions: the Legion, the Chosen, and the Warborn. Each of these 3 factions represent the knights, the samurais, and the Vikings respectively. Different classes have different abilities, weapons, customization tools that will be available to the players. And For Honor is a game that's going to have a lot of customization. You can tweak with the gender of the character, the armor worn by them, the weapons. A lot of things can be changed and tweaked with your character in For Honor. We still don't have a release date for Honor, but hopefully we can get our hands on the game sometime in 2016. But 2017 might actually be more likely. Number 2 is the latest entry in a long-running fighting game series by Capcom, Street Fighter V. Now, Street Fighter has always had the multiplayer component. Everybody has loved the multiplayer to Street Fighter. Whether it be playing on the couch with a friend, being at a tournament, playing online, the multiplayer in Street Fighter has always been a large component to the game. And this time around, the best thing about Street Fighter V's multiplayer is that the game is actually releasing on the PlayStation 4 and PC, and Street Fighter V will feature crossplay between the 2 platforms. If you have a PlayStation 4 and your friend has a PC, well, now you can play against each other. If you have a PC and your friend has a PS4, same thing. Street Fighter V looks like one of the most promising fighting games in a while now, and the game is almost here with the scheduled release date of February 16th, 2016. And finally, number 1, one of the most anticipated games of 2015, Star Wars Battlefront by DICE. Star Wars Battlefront is a reboot to the massively popular Star Wars Battlefront series, which hasn't seen a new entry in nearly a decade. And with DICE taking the helm for Star Wars Battlefront, expect some gorgeous visuals, a great soundtrack, excellent multiplayer gameplay, and one of the best things about Star Wars Battlefront is that it actually feels like Star Wars. The audio, the characters, the visuals, every little detail in Star Wars Battlefront gives it the essence of Star Wars. If you are a Star Wars fan, you're gonna love Battlefront. If you're a fan of multiplayer games, you're gonna love Battlefront. If you're a fan of both, well, Battlefront is your shoehorn for Game of the Year. And the game is almost here with a release on November 17th, 2015. So that is our countdown for the top 10 upcoming multiplayer games on the PS4. Do you agree with our list? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comment section down below. Also, comment your requests for future videos. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and goodbye.